Okay. All right. I think everybody knows everybody, but this is DeAnne is the one in the blonde over there.
Just call us Blondie and Brownie.
Blondie and Brownie. We got Blondie and Brownie. DeAnne is a platinum, right? Have you gone? Okay. And I'll let you tell more about a little about your journey and stuff, because I don't know everything. So she's our platinum upline, and so she's going to be sharing with us tonight kind of some how she kind of trains her people to share and with others. And so she's going to be sharing, and then Amy is one of her enrollees, personal enrollee. Okay.
Local.
Okay, and she's local, and she has been building. She's been a member for longer, but she's been building for about 3 months. Am I correct? October. Okay, and she's executive, right?
Yes.
Okay, so she's on to give her perspective from kind of the newbie builder perspective, because I kind of wanted to get like DeAnne to give us her training, and then y'all could have some perspective from somebody who's newbie building. And then if y'all have questions or whatever, I'm kind of going to let DeAnne just run the show. I just have started the recording in the Zoom, and we're going to let her take off. So I'm going to mute myself.
Okay. This whole thing kind of originated when we were in Nashville at beauty school, and we were just kind of sitting around one evening and going back and forth with questions, and Christy said, gosh, would you come on and tell people what you just told me? And so that's how this whole thing originated. If it seems a little out of the blue to you, it is, but there was a method behind the madness. But what we were talking about really was how I built. And as most of us, I don't know, have either one of you, Teresa or Carrie, did you join to do the business? And I know Amy did not join to do the business at all. So I think we're all kind of in that same boat. And I think probably 99 out of 100 people who start building with Young Living never intend to do it. But as we know, you can't stop talking about the things you love. So I think that's kind of the starting point for it all for us was we had a radical health intervention with oils with my husband. And that was about almost 6 years ago, 5.5 years ago. And I had already been in another MLM. I had been a stay-at-home mom for 14 years. I was successful before we had a baby in an MLM. And I said, if I ever did that again, I would go back to doing that. I had no intentions of starting another MLM or working, period. But we had an experience that we had to share with other people. And when you love somebody, it's just out of the abundance of the heart, the mouth speaks, right? So that's kind of what happened is the people who had been agreeing with us for my husband's healing for 9 years saw the results and said, what are you doing? And I said, I don't know. And they said, can you tell us what you've done so far? And that just kind of blossomed from there. And I started with one meeting, and I had about 12 people in my living room. This was October of 2013. So we got our kit in June of 2013. And by October, I knew this might be something. I'm sorry, that was September. And I had rocketed to executive before I knew what executive was, had no idea what it was. Paul Cecil called me and said, do you realize you're almost executive? I said, no, what is that? And so that's kind of how it happened really, really, really quickly because we were sharing. And also Tina stacked somebody under me who was building radically quickly. Tina stacked Evelyn Coutey under me because we had been in another, we were all connected. Christy and I were good friends, and we'd been in another MLM. Anyway, all of that aside. I'm rambling because you told me I had an hour.
Well, you'll have time. Amy's going to talk too. And also, we're all under Evelyn. So.
Oh, good.
This leg is Evelyn's leg. So.
Yeah. Yes. You're under way down in the down line. Yeah, way, 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 way down. under Dawn Walsh, right?
Right.
And
Yes, all of us are under Dawn. Yes.
Yeah. Oh, good. Okay. Now I know. I've never met Dawn. So anyway, I started with one meeting in my house and had 12 people there and 9 people signed up. And from that group, a couple of people said, will you come to and share this with my friends in my living room? And I said, yes. And so that is exactly how I built. I did not, I've only had 3 personal classes for myself where I invited all my people. Everything else blossomed from that class. So from that class, or from those 3 classes, but from that class, I signed up my mother, and then I started signing up her friends, and it just sort of spiraled from there. But the way that I teach, now that I've had some perspective and I can stand back and say, what did I do to get to where I got? Just kind of 2020 hindsight has developed a system that has really worked. And the system is, you start with number 1, mindset. I cannot start any training without talking about the words that you speak over yourself, the words you speak over your life, the words you speak over this business. You will never, ever be successful until you get your mindset under control. I don't know about you, but I was not raised in an entrepreneurial home. I was raised in, the 9-to-5 grind. And we were always lacking money. We always couldn't afford it. All those things, those mindsets that get stuck in you as a child. You got to get all that poverty mindset. You got to get all that limiting belief. You got to clear out the cobwebs of what you've probably been trained in before you can move forward. So that's number 1. I have a couple of book recommendations. I didn't bring them on here, but I can put them in a chat, or if you're interested, that's the first one. That's the first one. That's the that is kind of like 101 understanding your words for dummies. If there was a for dummies edition, that's it. It's super, super a quick read. It is very, 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 it's very informational. It comes from a biblical perspective, which is where I base everything I do on, from a biblical standpoint. So that's the first place to start. And then there's a ton of places, a ton of resources to go after that. Leaders are readers, and the first thing you're going to have to change is you before you can become successful in this business, because this is all about meeting other people's needs. This is all about ministering to them where they are. And if you don't know your head from the hole in the ground and where you're headed and what you believe, you're not going to be able to help anybody else. So you got to get you straight first. The second part is make a list. And I'm going to say, I can't even tell you how many people have done this. It's such a small number. I could probably count on one hand how many people have actually done what I suggest, and what the training, everybody's successful training is: make a list. Make a list. So you are making a list of, and this is how I break it down personally, and everybody has a strategy. You can Google prospect list. Do you hear Tyson? Can you hear him in the background crying? Oh, good. Okay. He is just crying. It is, anyway, past dinner time. I know. He'll be fine. He's not going to die. Go. You got to go. Stop. So anyway, make a list. And the way that I break it down is 5 people I know from church, 5 people I know from work, 5 people I know from my neighborhood, 5 people I know from Facebook, 5 people I went to school with, 5 people that are sick all the time, 5 people that I trade services with, my hairdresser, my nail person, my cleaners, whatever it is. And I just break it down into 5 people. It doesn't have to be, don't prejudge them. Don't decide for them. Just break it down. And that's your base. So those are the people that you're going to invite to 3 classes. You're going to schedule 3 classes, and you're going to say something like, if you've been doing this a while, so there's 2 different scripts that you can do. The first script is, hey, Sally, I know this is kind of out of left field, but I just have been having some amazing results with these essential oils I've been using, kind of like life-changing stuff. And I am getting really serious about telling people about them. But my friend, now if somebody else is doing the story for you, if somebody else is doing the class for you, and this is how I coach those people to say, my friend has an even better story. You've just got to hear it. I wouldn't want you to miss out on it. Will you be my guest? And that's the scariest thing you'll ever do, is invite somebody to a class. But once you start doing it, you'll become a pro at it. And you'll fail a couple times, and that'll be okay. And a couple of people, don't worry about all that. Just repeat, repeat, repeat. So you're going to have your first class. There's going to be people that say they're going to show up. I say the numbers are this, and this is going to, I hope this doesn't freak you out, but invite between 30 and 50 people. From that, 10 will say they're coming, and 5 hopefully will show up. From those 5, probably 3 of them will get a kit, and 1 of them will get really excited and have some life-changing results because they'll use the kit. And once that person, you're going to hold hands with that person, you're going to hold hands with them for 2 weeks. You are going to ask them what they did first in their diffuser. Hey, Sally, I'm so excited your kit came in yesterday. What did you diffuse last night? You didn't diffuse. Wait, you haven't even unpacked it. Oh my gosh. You've got to unpack that. Okay, here's what you do. The first thing you do is you plug that diffuser in. Now listen, put it on your nightstand. Don't put it across the room from you. Put it right on your nightstand and put 3 drops of stress away and 3 drops of lavender in. I'm going to call you tomorrow night and see what you think. That's how you do it. Then you call her tomorrow night. Then you tell her about the daily detox. Then you address the issues that she's been talking about. Wow, I really have a son that needs calming down during the day. And you talk to her about a blend to help him calm down during the day. Wow, these seasonal flowers popping up in the springtime just have me sneezing like a crazy person. And you address that issue and you walk through that with them. You're going to hold Sally's hand for 2 weeks. By second week, hopefully you have a follow-up class, which is a now what class. And that's where you go through. Christy has all of this information. I've created an outline of everything that I do in the now what class. And the now what class is them coming together and with their kit and creating blends and learning how to put on a roller ball and telling stories and using your oils to make blends that they may not have. If you have an iTovi scanner or a Zyto scanner, this is a great time to insert that in there and tell them that they're going to get a free iTovi scan. This is when you're going to continue to reinforce ER. We are just as a team learning how to get them on ER at the time of sign up. It's a beautiful thing, a beautiful way that Young Living has put this into play now, that you can actually get on ER and that can be your first ER, your kit. That used to not be that way. So that's where you reinforce ER. That's where we take ninja shots and we talk about MindWise and we get into supplements. We just go a little bit further every single time that we meet together. So you're going to do that for 2 weeks. And then you're just going to massage. You keep checking in. You keep tagging them. So you go into Drops of Life or Christy's group or the co-op. And if you see something about those seasonal discomforts, you go, oh, wow, Sally, you're going to love this thread. You really need to read this. If you come across an article, you're going to text it to her. You're just going to hold Sally's hand, right? And then you're going to call Sally in a week or 2 from there and say, wow, Sally, it looks like you're really using and loving your oils. I bet you're talking to people about it. And she says, yes. And you say, well, just like you came to my house and just like you and I both did, you can have some people in your living room. If you want to just gather a couple of people, gather a few people. Don't say a couple, never say a couple, don't ever say that. Tell them 30. And say, gather some people in your living room and we will sniff oils and tell stories and share this amazingness with the people that you love. And the cool part about it, Sally, is when anybody purchases a premium starter kit the same way you and I did, Young Living is so generous that you're just going to find a $50 thank you check in your mailbox. And you just never know. The cool thing is you can absolutely pay for your oils every single month and not have to take it out of your family budget. So I didn't have the money that we spend now on Young Living. I did not have that in our family budget. I remember when Tina said to me, there's an automatic program called Essential Rewards, and it's a monthly ship program. I mean, I remember where I was in town. I was in my car talking to her on the phone, pulling into the cheapest gas station I could find. I'd just passed one because it was 3 cents more. And I was going into the cheapest gas we could find. And she said, you have to spend, but you have to spend at least $50 a month. And I thought, oh, and that's how they get you. No, they're not ever going to get me on that. Absolutely not. I can't do that. She said, but then she follows it up with, but it's better to spend $100 a month. I was like, yes, you're ever loving mine, sister. This girl doesn't have an extra $100 to spend on your hippie witchcraft. There's no way I'm doing all that. So just know that there are skeptics in the room and you do have to babysit them a little bit. But anyway, that's how you're going to start. So then you have Sally, right? So Sally is bringing her friends. And you don't wait for Sally to take care of her people. She brings her people in. She has 5 people in her living room. 3 of them buy kits. You've taught the class for Sally. You are supporting those people. You are giving them welcome kits. You are getting them in your Drops of Life or in your group or however you do. You are supporting them. You are following up with them. You are friending them on Facebook. And you establish relationships with Sally's people, because now Sally has 3 people, right? She has 3 people that have bought kits, and maybe 2 of those take off, and you just rinse and repeat. You call Susie and Sandra and say, Susie, Sandra, wow, I'm so excited you got your kit. What's the first thing you diffused? Oh, you haven't unpacked it yet. And you just keep that process going. So you do not have to endlessly use your Rolodex. You do not have to keep pestering the people who have said no 14,000 times. All you have to do is reach down into the people that have already said yes. So how many of you have signed up 3 people? Have you all signed up? Teresa, you've signed up 3 people? So you've signed up 3 people. Your job is to massage that relationship. Your job is to help them understand that they can get their oils paid for every single month just by telling people about the oils that they already love. So that's our approach. Care calls were another big thing I did in the beginning, which were I would call and I would tell people, hey, even if I didn't know them from Adam's House Cat. Hey, my name's DeAnne Tharp. I'm part of your local support system with Young Living. I am collecting stories today, and it looks like you're using and loving your oils. And if you have time, I'd love to hear some of your stories to encourage some other people. Or I'd just love to hear your stories, and they'll start talking. And you just start reinforcing, oh my goodness, so you used to, you put cedarwood in your diffuser and you're sleeping through the night? Yeah, well, I use it to sleep at night. Well, what do you use? Well, I use cedarwood. And you're sleeping through the night? Oh yeah, I used to get up in the night and now I don't even wake up. Wait a minute. You're telling me, this is the part, you just read it back to them. So easy. This is it. You're telling me that you used to get up every single night, and now when you put a couple of drops of cedarwood in your diffuser, you don't get up anymore? No, I don't. Oh my goodness, Sally, that is life-changing, right? If you can sleep, everything works better in your body, doesn't it? You feel better, you look better, your immune system's built. Wow, Sally, these oils have really changed your life, haven't they? Bet you're telling other people about them, aren't you? So you just have to, do y'all hear my dog? Do you hear him?
I don't. Oh, now I do.
He is at my office door screaming at me. I'm going to lock you out. So anyway, that is how we start with the business. And it's really, really, really that easy. It's just a matter of first of all, changing your mindset. What words are you saying? If you are saying things like, people never come to my classes. I can't get anybody interested in this. Everybody thinks I'm a hippie. I'm never successful at stuff like this. I don't even know why I tried. If those are the words you're speaking of your life, here's the thing you need to understand. Whatever you speak today, you create tomorrow. So look at your life today and go back and see you've created it by what you've said. So you can call it self-fulfilling prophecy. You can call it affirmations. You can call it the biblical term, which is reaping and sowing. You sow what you reap. You can't plant corn and expect to have soybeans come up, just like you can't plant negative words and expect positivity to come out of it. Sorry, I'm going to have to close my door 1 second. Oh my gosh.
He's the cutest puppy though, guys.
Now
he's
he's
amazing.
barking at me. Oh Lord. Anyway, so you just have to understand that your mindset is the first thing. And after that, it's making a list. After that, it's inviting people any way you want to. You can say, I'm having amazing results. If you've been doing this a while, you can say, I've been doing this now for 5 years or 3 years or 6 months or whatever. You can go to those people and say, and I'm still amazed by the stories I hear, and I'm still amazed how they're changing our lives. And I know we talked about it before and it wasn't something that you were interested in, but I'd just love it if you'd come and let me share some stories and sniff oils. Or the other approach is, I know you're not interested in this, Sally, but I know you know people that I don't. And my mission is to get these oils in everybody's hands at some point because they've just changed my life. Would you help me by coming and checking it out and let me know if you know anybody that you think I need to talk to that I can help? Okay.
Love it.
Yay. So that's it's really easy. It's not, there's no rocket science. We don't have a foolproof special secret sauce. It's just talking to people. First of all, it's talking to yourself. Second of all, it's talking to people that you know. And it's just consistency. Repeat, repeat, repeat. Obviously, you have to be a user of the product. If you are not on Ningxia Red, you can't talk about Ningxia Red. If you're not using the supplements, you can't talk about the supplements with authenticity and people will hear it. But when you become a lover of the product, even if it's just one product, if all you ever talk about is thieves, we have one guy on our team that is the thieves, we call him the thieves guru. And I don't know, he may be on supplements. I don't know. And he's now drinking Ningxia Red and had a life-changing experience with it. But he started on thieves. He was all about thieves, thieves, thieves. So pick something that you use everything, because here's the thing, you're going to have a story out of everything that comes out. We have an oil story, we have supplement stories, we have Ningxia Red stories, we have MindWise stories. The latest thing I started just using is the shampoo. Oh my gosh, I love it so much. I don't know why it took me almost 6 years to try it, because I didn't believe in it, because I'm a skeptic and I'm a snob when it comes to shampoo. So I finally tried it. I'm like, dang, I love this stuff. There's something to these oils. So, use the product, become a lover of the product, and then just share it with other people. And I know that sounds simplified, but it really, really, really is that simple.
DeAnne, that's amazing. Thank you for sharing all of that with me first and foremost, because that's exactly why I'm at Executive now. I am working locally with DeAnne, so I feel very lucky and very fortunate to be able to have somebody in town that I connect with regularly. And my story is that I have had Bell's palsy twice. The first time I had Bell's palsy was about 17 years ago. I went to the doctor. They told me steroids and antivirals. I thought, oh, good, they know how to fix it. I realized that's what they give people when they don't know how to fix things. And it took me about 9 months to get out of my eye patch. Bell's palsy is the paralysis of the 7th cranial nerve. It can happen on either side of your face. Mine happened on this side of my face, the right side, which is flipped here, but the right side. And it took me 9 months not to have an eye patch. Your eye freezes open. So you literally sleep with your eye open. You tape it shut. It's hard to eat. It's like you've had a massive stroke. And 15 years later, I had Bell's palsy again. This was about 1.5 years ago. So the first time there was no Facebook, the first time there was no the internet really wasn't even what it is now. So this time I went on Facebook and I said, okay, Facebook friends, what say you? And DeAnne Ferrugio said, well, you should use essential oils. And I was like, I have no idea what you're talking about. So I went to DeAnne's house for a class and walked in with my eye patch and looking like I'd had a stroke, obviously of an age where I shouldn't be having strokes. And she just was amazing and big-hearted and loving like she always is, and acted like that was totally normal. Everybody walks around looking like that, made me feel welcome. And man, I was writing like a wild woman. Every word that came out of her mouth spoke to me. And so I was about to use her for, I would say, a little over a year, 1.5 years. And what was amazing, I'm going to call this my first tip. This is called ballet shoes, just right ballet shoes. What DeAnne did is she met me where I was. So when your baby is born, you may want, and this is a story from DeAnne too, you may want to tell them about ballet shoes, but it doesn't really make any sense, does it? That's a tiny little baby in a cradle. That baby can't dance. That baby can't walk. But you might buy ballet shoes and have a strategy and a plan for sharing it with that baby. I was the baby. She knew about the ballet shoes. She had them waiting for me. But that's not the first, second, third, or 1,000th thing she said to me. She said all the things she shared with you tonight. Oh my gosh, Amy, it sounds like you're using your oils and you're loving them. I bet you're telling people about them. What if we gathered some people in your living room and just told stories and sniffed oils? And I was like, sure, I'll do that for you. I owe you everything. I'm so grateful for you. And she let it lie. So she let me move forward at my pace. Are you going to talk to somebody who's dealing with facial paralysis about starting a new business? Probably not. I was actually with another MLM that I wasn't doing very well with. But I'm also loyal and stubborn and had a lot of limiting beliefs. And she let that go. Why? Ballet shoes. I was not ready. And so when you're thinking about your prospects, you may see, oh my word, if this person would just even raise a pinky for this business, they would be Royal Crown Diamond in 10 seconds. This is driving me crazy. How do I get them engaged? That's never going to work. You have to meet your people where they are. Don't give people more than they can process. KISS, right? Keep it simple. We don't use the word stupid in our house, but keep it simple, stupid, right? If you're sitting there going, have you ever considered the compensation plan of Young Living? When I'm smelling lavender for the first time, I'm going to be like, yeah, I knew it. These old people, they just, whatever. But the lavender smells good. Maybe I want some lavender anyway, but I'm never going to talk to them about this oil compensation plan. That's just crazy talk. This lavender is like 20 something bucks. Nobody's making a lot of money off of this stuff. I'll tell you right now. I know. Well, we don't know. And the baby doesn't know how to dance without ballet shoes. But our strategy needs to meet our people, prospects, customers, distributors. And then this is going to be even trickier for us to all hear. You need to meet your star where your star is. You need to meet your executive where your executive is. I'm going to tell you right now that the personal growth that is required from each of us to level up is different at each level. Executive to silver is a lot of work up here and in here. I have limiting beliefs that we've been working on exploding left and right. Listen, I've been so blessed in my life. Why would I be greedy and ask for more? That's pretty narcissistic, isn't it? You're not asking for more for you. You're asking so you can share oils with others. You're asking so that you can help other people be healed. You're asking so that you can help other people financially. What if someone knew about this and didn't tell you? What if Jan had not reached out on Facebook that day and said, have you tried essential oils? Tiny little sentence. Changed my life, changed my family's life, changed 38 people's lives so far that I know. And a lot of people of those 38 I didn't know. So it's not up to us to decide who deserves this knowledge. Everyone deserves this knowledge. All who come before us are worthy. It's not up to us to decide that person's going to be a royal crown. I better start teaching them about the comp plan right away. We need to be strategic and thoughtful. And then we need to be teachers and leaders. Leaders are readers. So if you're not familiar with personal development, get with somebody who is, or get on a couple of good podcasts. I can recommend Mel Robbins as one. She's going to really help you explode your limiting beliefs. She's going to help you set up a routine that's going to keep you productive and happy. Just a warning, it means you can't have your phone with you at night, and that's a good thing. But we're all going to have to break habits that we've developed that are poor for us, that are bad for us, that we are wedded to, right? A lot of us like our misery. That's not necessary. Kick that to the curb. You've already figured out there are chemical toxins under your sink. This is no less toxic, people. This is no less toxic. Sitting and thinking, I don't want to share too many personal things on Facebook. What if people are mean to me? Well, I've got news for you. People are going to be mean to you either way. And what you're doing is you are preventing people from seeing the real you, the authentic you, the one that's going to tell them how to change their life if they need it and if they're open to it. So these limiting beliefs, these restrictions that we put on ourselves, these, you got to illuminate the dark places. You have to dig deep. And if you are not growing at the rate you want to grow at, it's because there's something in there. And I'm speaking about it because I know it, because I'm living it right now, right? Oh, I'm executive. That's great. Why should I be able to be gold in a year? Because everybody needs to know about this, because it is miraculous, because it is a gift, because it's not up to me who I tell. So I have the list that DeAnne told me to make, and I am working on reaching down to my Sallys and my downline and helping them grow. And that's how I got on. So I started with eagerness in October, and I was executive in November. But wait, Christy introduced me. I'm still executive. What's up with that? I think we did some work today. We did some work yesterday. We did some work the day before. It's because I had limiting beliefs. It's because I haven't been rinsing and repeating. It's because I thought I knew the formula, so I started working on the formula. And then I realized I didn't have the formula right. But you have to change. You have to grow. You have to reflect. If something's not working as dear to you as it may be, stop it. I'm going to say it again. Stop it. I love events. Love having people over. Do you want to know how many events I had with one person or two people or no people? That's not business. That's a dinner party gone wrong. Stop it. Was that hard for me to do? Yes. Do I like putting together a cheese tray? Of course. I can do that with my friends. Don't do what's not business and call it business. We see you. Everybody sees you. Everybody sees me. Oh, how cute. She loves her oil. She's having another oil party. She's a housewife. She's having fun. No, sister, you got it wrong. I'm here to change your life. I'm here to give you the keys to the kingdom. I'm here to help you sleep better, feel better, clean better, and praise God. I'm here to help you do that for your children and your children's children, for your sister, for your mother who's battling cancer, for everybody in your family. When I speak to you, I'm not speaking to you. I'm speaking to everybody you touch. It is the butterfly effect in its most perfect form. Because what do we all see? We all see, what is she rolling on herself? That looks good. That smells good. I want that. What store did you get that at? Well, let me tell you about it. I didn't get it at a store. So you also have to take your openings, right? So stop doing some things. Start doing some things and take your openings. Listen for the opportunities. They're everywhere. If you're on social media, every third person has a terrible headache for the fifth day. Private message that person. Hey, I was a skeptic, but I used to have headaches too. And I'm telling you, I found something that worked. Would you be willing to try it if I shared a sample with you and give me your feedback? If I share, would you be willing? And there's nothing standing in the way of just a tiny, we give away drops, right? We don't give away roller bottles. We're not handing out deep relief left and right. God forbid, we're not handing out valor left and right. We're handing out little drops. Try this and let me know what you think about it. Some people aren't even going to like it at that point. That's okay too. Asked and answered. I'm a military brat, right? Asked and answered. I asked and you answered. Is that person off my list? Heck no. Next thing I know, they're going to say they're having trouble sleeping. And if you don't think I'm going to pop in and go, I know you didn't like the headache stuff, but I got to tell you, I got some sleep stuff. You know, I'm going to keep coming back and sharing this with you. Once I know they completely understand what I'm sharing and don't want it, that's when I can rest. And quite frankly, if somebody completely understands what I'm sharing, they're all going to want it. So it's really a question of what have I not done? How have I not met them where they are? How have I not been patient enough, waited long enough, asked the right questions, or engaged in the right way to be able to help them learn about oils that are going to change their lives dramatically? The other thing that I think has really helped me is having a routine. I'm really not regimented, so regimens work for me. I don't know if that makes sense. I can do this in a conversation. I'm not this conversation person, but when I know my goal, it helps me to know the steps. And so DeAnne shared with me early on this 5-a-day journal, and that's really helped me. I've set reminders thanks to Jackie at the oil retreat in Tennessee, teaching us how to use Blink, a free app on your messenger on Facebook. I set 5 reminders a day, and the first reminder is to pray for my business. If you're not someone who prays, think of it as meditating about your business, declarations over your business, affirmations over your business. My classes are full of people excited to learn about oils. I can't keep track of all the business builders that are coming to my house to learn more about how to share this with others. I'm so excited about all the trainings that I'm learning from and growing from. I'm growing personally so that I can be a better leader for the people I'm sharing oils with. Whatever it is that you're working on, I have 15 a day that are pretty consistent. And I claim them as if they are real. I write them as if they are real. I say them as if they are real. I am a Royal Crown Diamond. I write that every single day. Now on the side, I write what I'm working on today. Silver and 6. Silver, I actually don't even say 6 because I don't want to limit myself, but running for silver. And I'll write what that is. 10,000 OGV, 2 $4,000 leg, 2 4,000 OGV legs, and then $2,000 personal production, because I don't want it to be too nebulous. So now I've done the first step for this book. I've prayed about my business, meditated on my business, spoken my affirmations. Second, I'm logging into my virtual office. What are my numbers? All right, it's the 15th of the month. I know I need 10,000 OGV. Where am I sitting? What does that look like daily for me? What is the activity that I'm doing to drive those numbers? If I'm at 2,000 OGV for an executive and I need to get to 4, and my rank qualification report says I'm stuck at 2, I've got 14 days left and no classes, I've got a hobby, not a business. I know those numbers and I'm working them every day. And I know my IPAs. I know income producing activity is not scrolling on Facebook. It is not doing a post on Instagram. It is not doing a training. Those are important things sometimes, but those are not income producing activity. Classes, reach outs, follow-ups with people who are not on ER, follow-ups for people who are on ER, suggesting different items that maybe they've never tried. Hey, I heard you talking about your back pain the other day. You have Panaway, right? Oh, that's right. You got your kid about a year ago. You're probably close to being out. That's a really great thing to throw on your ER. And if you get up to 250 this month, that's also going to get you that free oil that you talked about wanting to buy last month. You don't need to buy it anymore. You could get it for free. So that really makes your pan away more like half price. Go for it. It's the perfect time. There's so many ways to help people learn about different segments of what we have to offer. If you have somebody who's never tried to supplement, if you have somebody who's never tried shampoo, our dear DeAnne had never tried shampoo. I've also never tried shampoo, but I will. I'm growing my oil collection still as a newbie. And then you need to consume the products. For us on this call, hopefully that's not an issue. But as DeAnne said, if you're not using Ninja, if you don't have a roller ball with you in public and you're not using it all the time, let's see, pain roller, allergy roller, deep relief, snipper stick, Valor. I have more in here, but that's a start. I'm always using oils in public, and people are always asking me, what is that? What are you doing? Waitresses will ask me, friends will ask me, kids will ask me, is that, kids want, is it candy? No, it's better than candy. I can tell you all about it. So you've prayed and meditated, you've known your numbers, you are using your products. Now you have to share these with other people. Sharing isn't just using it in public, right? It's doing reach outs with the language that DeAnne shared with us. So concise, so clear. Hey, Sally, this may sound out of the blue, but I've been having these transformational results with these incredible oils, and it's my mission to share this with as many people as possible. Would you be my guest at an upcoming class? Because my friend's story is even more amazing than mine. These are for people maybe you don't know so well, people you know really well. You want to say, Jen, no eye patch for Amy. Stunning. Remember the last time I had an eye patch for 9 months? Now I have an eye patch for 3 months. The only thing I did different was oils. Don't keep that to yourself, but also let it be real, right? Like tell whatever your story is. And if you don't feel like you have a story that is going to move, well, I never got my face paralyzed. Why am I going to tell people that story? Then tell my story. Tell DeAnne's story. Tell Aubrey's story. We've got so many incredible documented miracles, in my opinion, things that have really impacted people. Grab one of those that fits the person you're talking to. Our friend Eric, I use his story all the time now. He's been on blood pressure medicine for 20 plus years. And he read about how Ninja had helped some people with blood pressure. So he decided to give it 3 months. That's what he had seen. So he gave it 3 months. And this last Halloween, he went to his doctor. And his doctor has one of those no nonsense nurses, like not chatty, not there to make you feel welcome. Or, oh, how have you been? No. So she took his blood pressure and she said, what's that mean? She goes, I think the machine is broken. She went out, she got another machine. And I used to go to the same doctor, man. The faces she makes, you think for sure you're dying, right? Like, why would the nurse make that face after she checked my blood pressure? Well, it turns out she thought that machine might be broken too. So she went and got the doctor. And the doctor came in and did that whole doctor thingy where they're kind of stalking you and assessing you at the same time. So, what have you been up to, Eric? Nurse tells me your blood pressure came back a little different. And Eric's like, would you like to share with me? Like, what's going on? How is it different? And the doctor said, your blood pressure has not been this good in over 20 years. What are you doing? 20 years. This is about morbidity. This is about my friend who I love living longer, living better, living healthier. And so he said, I've been doing oils and I do 2 things. I do the daily detox, which is this, and I take 2 ounces. He does 2 ounces of Ninja every day. Did the doctor go, I want those oils? No. The doctor said, well, if you keep it up and you come back in 6 months, we'll take you off your blood pressure medicine completely. So A, you've got an incredible transformational health story. B, you've got a swap and drop, no longer needing to buy blood pressure medicine going to be able to just spend that money on his ninja. And 3, you've got a doctor who's just heard his first story about oils. And I'll guarantee you that's not the last he's going to hear from Eric, because Eric is now a business builder for that very reason, because he tried them. And he told me, so many times there are blessings we don't know we receive. Eric confessed to me in a class about a month ago that the only reason he bought his kit was to help me. If I had known that, he wouldn't have had that kit. There's no way, sister. Mama don't need no help from people buying kits from her. That's not what this is about. But thank God that's what happened, because now my friend has a business. He's spreading the word, and he is healthier than he has been in years. So when you're thinking about sharing with others, realize that's the potential impact you're having. And what if you're embarrassed? Like, what if you really piss somebody off? Like, seriously, like, I knew it. You're only after me for my oil money. Well, that's the price we pay. And I'm perfectly willing to pay that price. And I know I don't need that person in my life anymore. So if somebody is that precious about their listening to my story, why would I even want to be around them? I don't. So whatever's holding you back from telling all the people, and I mean all the people, if your priest does not know, if your teacher does not know, if your doctor does not know, if your family doesn't know, if your neighbor doesn't know, then you haven't even scratched the surface. So that's good news. You can go do that now. The first few times you do it, you might be like, wow, that was awkward. I am not good at the word thing. Or me, that was awkward. I like to share a lot of words. Like, all I had to say was that thing that DeAnne literally wrote for me. Maybe less words. But main thing, share. And then last but not least, we need to help others grow. And when we help others grow, it's just by sharing calls like this. It's just by sharing information like this. It's by sharing our authentic journeys. So if I leave you with anything, it's to be humble. Because if you're going to do well in this business, you're going to make mistakes. You're going to be embarrassed. You're going to be called out if you're lucky enough to have a good leader who calls you out. I was at dinner with DeAnne in Nashville, and I said, I hope you would tell me if there's anything that I'm not doing that I should be doing for the business. And I meant that. I thought I had listened well. I thought I had really been on the ball. And she said, well, do you really mean that? And I said, yes. And boy, did I mean it. And I would do it 1,000 times again. And she said, well, there's about 1,000 things you should be doing. But she waited. She didn't give me my ballet shoes when I was a baby. She let me make a few mistakes. She let me get some help. She was there when I needed it and could hear it. And let me tell you something. I'm the girl that you want on your team when you need a cheerleader. Oh my God, you fell down those steps. You got down so fast. Good job. And look, you're fine. It's all going to be okay. That doesn't help anybody. Oh my word, you fell down those steps. I'm right here. What do you need? Are you okay? Sit for a minute. Don't get up right away. Do you have someone I can call to help you? These are the things we should say, right? Stop scrolling Facebook. Stop thinking you already have the formula. If you're not Royal Crown Diamond, you got work to do. We all have work to do. Start affirmations. Start knowing your numbers. Start helping other people. And you can do anything, because this business is a gift. And you are blessed to know about it. And you are blessing anyone you share it with. And I'm so grateful that someone shared it with me, and my heart would just be broken if they hadn't. So good luck. You can do it.
Did y'all just see a Royal Crown Diamond talking to you? Yes, she's absolutely right. I did want her on my team. The very first time I met her, I thought, wow, that is somebody I want to be around. That is somebody I want to work with. That's somebody who could do miraculous things with this business. And she was with another MLM and dedicated to another MLM. And I never said anything about it for 18 months, I guess, about 18 months, something like that. I never said. And she asked me one day again, we were talking, and she said, well, what would a business builder look like in Young Living? And I said, do you really want to know? And anytime anybody asks me a question, the thing you don't know, some people don't know about me, is I am brutally honest. And I don't have any other way to be. But I always ask when people ask. That's what I'm working on now. I used to just answer, and people would be so caught off guard by what I said. So now I try to say, do you really want to know? And she said, yeah. And I said, well, you can't fish out of two boats. I said, no, nobody plays in the Super Bowl and at halftime runs over to the baseball field to try to hit a home run. You can't do both. You got to be dedicated. And she came on board, and man, there's been no looking back. But it's all timing. Everything's timing. And the thing that we were talking about today is the only way that you can fail at this business is if you quit. Everybody's going to have a different pace. Everybody's going to do it differently. But the only way that you really can fail is if you stop doing it, because it's a natural growing living organism that it's going to grow because it's alive. The oils are alive. Our stories are alive. We are alive, and things that are alive and healthy keep growing. So hope that helped y'all. I feel like there's a lot of rambling there, but hope that helped you a little bit. Do y'all have any questions or comments?
I just want to say thank you to both you ladies, because I really appreciated the time. We had such a short time to spend in Nashville, but I really appreciated it. And DeAnne, you're right, because when we asked, what you said stung. But Christy and I talked a little bit that night, and I really let it turn in my head. It's like, okay, am I ready to hear what she had to say? Am I ready to take the next step to do what she's recommending that I do?
Yeah, I say a lot of those things because I think one of the things that I tell people is on my team, you don't get participation trophies. Right. Everybody does not do a good job. Everybody did not have a great month. Everybody did not do that perfectly. What you do with people that you care about is speak truth into their life. You don't blow smoke up their skirt. So the thing that I told you, the thing that I said to both of you is because I cared about you. If I didn't, I would have just said, you guys are so great. Great job, guys. So much fun interacting with you. But what I said was the truth. And it's something you needed to hear. And when you sting, you kind of remember it. I spanked my little girl, and I used to tell her before I spanked her, sometimes you need a reminder, and God gave us the perfect place to remind you. I don't want to ever hurt you, but sometimes you just need a physical reminder that sin has consequences. And when you disobey, there's always going to be a corresponding consequence. And right now, it's your bum just stinging a little bit. But when you get older and you disobey, their consequences are much bigger. So if you learn now that there's a correlation between disobedience and not doing the things you should do and consequences, it's going to serve you well your whole life. And so that's kind of the approach I take with my team too, is sometimes you need a spanking. I don't need to cheer you on all the time. Sometimes you just need a little kick in the pants. And that's what I'm here for.
It helps. It really helps.
You did it well. You did it well. And I heard you.
Good. Have you gotten the book?
I do have the book. And I have the 5-a-day book too, because I guess Aaron was doing some sale in the co-op. And so I'm like, okay, well, I'm going to get some stuff. And I saw that there and I'm like, okay, well, I need to hit. And so I've got it. So need to get started, but they're in my hot little hands.
Well, congratulations. You have done what most people don't do, which is taking the first step, which is get the book. Now you'll do what most people never do if you'll read it, and then almost nobody puts it into practice. So if you start that, you are on the track to success, because what comes out of your mouth it will absolutely guide the rudder of your ship and of your life. And so congratulations, you get a round of applause tonight, and that does not come easily from me. Well done. Christy, have you started reading yours yet?
Nope, but it's out. If I had it out, and that's my goal, start right now, reading that one.
You get a spanking.
I should say, you guys, this is revolutionary for a lot of us. It shouldn't be, in my opinion, once you start doing it. But let me give you a couple of examples you might be running into right now. Oh my gosh, it was so funny. I could have died. No, ma'am, you could not have died. Do not even, I hate that I even said that as an example. That is so funny. I laughed so hard. There are about 20 different expressions we all use all the time that literally call such negative things to us. And what's great is when you stop doing that, you're still kind of saying the negative thing in your head, but you're replacing it because you'll start catching it. And then you'll get into a rhythm of not saying it at all and saying it more positively. And there's a couple of training videos out there where people say, don't you love how our classes are always so full? I hope we have enough seats when nobody's coming to classes. But you speak it into being. And there's Tyson. Hi, baby. So it's not just about your business. It's about every aspect of your life. And it's everywhere all the time. And once your ear tunes to it, you'll be shocked. It's like getting pregnant, and all of a sudden you're like, wow, everybody's pregnant around me. But before you were pregnant, you didn't notice at all. The same thing with this language issue. And I'm telling you, it will change not just your business, it'll change your marriage, it'll change your health. I am healthy and able every day. I am unusually able to keep up my energy during presentations in the evening. Things like that.
Well, this was very helpful, and I have recorded it for those who couldn't be on the whole time and those who are wanting to hear it who couldn't be on. But as we were talking about that, I was like, we're going to have DeAnne come back and talk about her journal, your journal that you did at the retreat. I was like, I really want to teach that, but I think you do so much better teaching it. So I'm like, we'll have to have you come back on and teach about that.
Or you've got the journal, and you dive into that book. Start applying the principles. Apply the principles of the book. Dive into the book, and you'll be able to teach it. You'll be able to say, you know what? I started saying this. We've been doing this languaging thing for a long time. We've been doing it for about over 25 years. So this is something that I've believed in for a long time, and I've watched, and I have so many stories, and it's how I've taught our daughter. And it's just, you will start seeing the stories. You will start seeing just yesterday, my daughter came back. She goes, you remember when I said such and such? And I said, yes. And she said, today, such and such. She said, I spoke it into existence over Christmas. And I said, you really did? Because it was freaky. It should not have happened. The thing that she said and the thing that happened was so weird, and so the odds of it happening were so slim. But she remembered, because she believes this thing. She has affirmations every morning. And before she hits the college campus, she starts with her affirmations. So it's life-changing. Amy's life it's so cool to have a front row seat with somebody and watch how it's affected every area of her life, and partner up with each other. Christy, I know you and Carrie talk a lot. Teresa, I don't know. Do you partner with anybody? Do you talk to anybody a lot on the team?
Usually.
Christy.
Well, you two partner together and catch each other and talk about, what you're going to do, what your goals are, and just catching each other and being accountable to somebody who's on the same page as you is a gift. It's a beautiful, beautiful gift of partnership. And if you can do that with just the three of you, just get a Facebook chat together and just talk about how you're going to speak your businesses and speaking life over things. is so much better than just constantly sitting in our heads and all, we all have that negative tape that runs our head. I'm not this, I'm not that, I can't this, I can't that. And the more that you speak it out loud, the more that tape will start to unravel. And that's what we all want. None of us want that tape in the head.
Yeah.
What is the name of the book?
I was going to say it. It's Declarations by Steve Backlund. Because we didn't say the name of it. It was backwards to y'all. So,
Not on Zoom. On Zoom, it looks good.
Oh, it does? Okay. So,
DeAnne, I've got a question for you. When you first started, because you're up in Virginia, away from the majority of the team in Alabama, what did you find was most helpful for you when you were just getting started, being physically on your own?
So that is a great point. I was an island, and up until, what was it, Amy, September, I was an island. So for 6 years, I've been an island here, and I built a team. There's a huge team in Alabama. There is a huge team in Georgia. There's a huge team in Pennsylvania and in Michigan and in North Carolina. And I traveled.
Tyson agrees.
Oh my gosh, is he so obnoxious? So I did. When I reached silver, sorry, I'm going to close this one more time. You go. No.
He's the sweetest dog.
Oh my gosh.
I went over the other day. We were having a prep meeting for a continuing ed class we offer, and he gave me the biggest full body hug I think I've ever had from a dog. It was magical.
So I went to my family. I made silver in October, but we were all so new that we missed one of the qualifications. My upline, my first level did not have 100 PV. And so it didn't qualify me as silver. So then it took me 2 more months to rank up again to silver, which was, and I could have quit. Like, I was so angry about that because I was working hard at getting to silver and nobody knew it. Kelly Wright didn't catch it. Tina didn't catch it. Nobody caught it and nobody cared. They were just like, oh no, you didn't make silver because there's this little thing in the comp plan that says this little thing, this little nuance. And I could have said, you all stink and I'm never doing this again and I'm mad about it and you robbed me, and I could have gotten really offended and walked away. But what I said was, that's not stopping me. And so I made it again in December, and I went to my family and said, I just need you to know, I think this might be something. I need your permission to go full throttle because I think I can make something out of this. And if you'll let me just not have the magic, you may not have the magic underwear drawers where clean underwear just appears. And, dinner may not make it. And I may have to miss the performances. For the first time in Delaney's life, I made a full performance. She's out of town, and I'd scheduled the class before I knew she was performing. So I went to my family and I got permission and I traveled, and wherever. So a perfect example of this is my way down in my downline. I have my 81-year-old mother who is my boy. She signed up her niece, which is my cousin, and we put my 80-year-old aunt under her. And my 80-year-old aunt had a friend on Facebook who was suffering with migraines, and she PM'd her a private message. And you may know her, Pam Zell. And she had chronic migraines that shut her down. She was a teacher. And she said, my nephew, who is my husband, had pretty great success with this formula. Do you want to try it? So Pam, who I've never met, who is 5 levels down from me in North Carolina, started signing up people like a demon. I mean, she was crazy signing up people. And I didn't know her from Adam's House Cat. And I called her one day out of the blue and I said, wow, Pam, I'm so-and-so, I'm so-and-so's so-and-so's niece. You are doing something down there in North Carolina. What's going on? And she said, well, I just share my story and people just want this stuff. people. She had no direction. She had no idea how to stack. She had first levels all over the place before I caught it. And I said, "You're using and loving your oils. I bet you're telling people about it." She said, "Yes." I said, "Would you like me to come to North Carolina and you can gather some people in a room and we can tell stories together and you can kind of see how it's done so that you can duplicate it?" She said, "I would love that." So 5 levels deep, I drove to North Carolina, spent the night in a hotel, met a lady I'd never known, didn't know anything about, and she had a room full of people, and several of them bought kits that night, and she started having classes in her house every single day, and now she's a retired teacher who is also silver, and my 81-year-old aunt is also a silver because of it. So you just dig down. You just go to who's working. That's what you do, Carrie, is you just find the people who are working and you go to them and you partner with them and you meet them where they are and you go after it hard together and you do the steps together with them. So that's how I did it. I went to Pennsylvania and I did a class for my cousin, did a couple of classes up there. I did several. I went to Atlanta to build my Georgia leg, which was my gold leg. I went to Atlanta 3 times, flew down there, stayed with a friend. So it does require, in order to get to the place that you want to be, you're going to have to do some things that you've never done before. And so that's going to require getting out of your comfort zone a little bit. Have you ever taught a class, Gary?
Yes.
So you've already gotten over that hurdle. That was a hurdle.
I've taught classes, inviting my own friends, and I've taught a class. I'm trying to think. Yes, one class for a friend who gathered her friends at her house.
Good, great. Did anybody sign up?
Not on the spot, but yes.
Good. And are you in contact with that person?
Yes.
Good. That's good. That's the whole cycle, and everybody's going to do it at a different pace. And if you want to get there faster, do it faster. That's the exact cycle that you need to use.
Thank you.
That's what I did.
Well, if y'all don't have any other questions, I did a drawing while we were doing this. I put everybody's name and a hat that was on here and did a drawing because Evelyn offered a pack of seedlings wipes for a drawing tonight. And they can be used to take off makeup. They can be used for babies, which the only one person on here, well, the 2 that were on here that had babies are already off. But any of us would take a pack of wipes. So, Carrie, you won the pack of wipes tonight. So you'll be receiving a pack of wipes from Miss Evelyn. That was a quick conversation she and I had today. We talked about something else. She said, "I'm going to offer a gift for your meeting tonight." I said, "Oh, you are so sweet." So
she's an amazing resource. Use her. She will come and travel. She'll go with you.
She has. She's been here because she comes through a lot to the mountains, and Christy comes, so they've come and done some training here. So, and we go to Birmingham a lot for rallies because we're close enough. It's a little far for y'all to get
DeAnne, if you ever make it back down to North Carolina to see Pam, I'm only a couple hours from her, so I'll come down to her. She'll come up to me. We'll figure something out.
Pam was a quick study. She was one and done. She didn't need me anymore. And I'll give you that little admonition.
That's fantastic. Before
we get off the phone, you have everything you need to do business. There are people, you don't need a new strategy, you don't need anything. You have every tool you need. When we got started, there was nothing. We were lost as goose. We were just, like I said, got to executive before I knew what it was. Didn't know that I was going to miss silver. We had no training. We had no oily tools. We had no written material. We had no comp plan. Nobody knew what they were doing. Nobody was in touch. And what we did was we were on fire about our products. So you don't need any of the fancy stuff. Just open your mouth and share your stories. The oils will sell themselves. Don't get wrapped up in all the details and all the training and all being all perfect. And what was that word she said? I need to remember that word. Just share your stories.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So Well, this was really good. Thank you for coming, ladies, and sharing with us. And we did record it, Monica, so you'll be able to go back and listen to it. But it was so great to have y'all on here and kind of share, because I can always tell what you all have said, but it comes better from y'all than it does from me just saying what you've said. I think it's good to have the person on.
All right, y'all have a great night. It was a pleasure.
All right, thanks.
Thank you.
Bye, guys.
Bye,
Thank
ladies.
you.
Good night,
Thank
everybody.
you.